What is up, bros and broettes? I'm Inkslasher, and today we are talking about Egypt, the first map in DLC 2. Now, DLC 2 is not out yet. It comes out on April 10th, but fortunately, I got to go down to Sledgehammer Games and play this DLC a little bit early. So thanks to Activision for flying me down, but now I can actually show you the gameplay and talk about which maps I liked, which maps I didn't, which in the case of DLC 2, I actually liked all of the maps. This one is actually the one I liked the least. The other two I really loved, and I could even go as far as to say they may be two of the best maps in the game to date. But let's talk about Egypt. So what do I like about the map? What do I not like about the map? First of all, the thing that I love about this map is it's unlike any other map in the game. Up until this point, we've got a lot of snow maps, forest maps, city maps. Now we have a map that takes place in a desert in Egypt. Now, the only other Call of Duty map ever that I could really compare this one to is a map from Call of Duty Ghost called Pharaoh. That map also took place in Egypt and kind of had a similar style to it as well. The big difference with this one is this one has a lot of small corridors and passageways where you can kind of sneak around the map. When we played Team Deathmatch Domination on this map, I found it really difficult to find a good spot where no one could really flank me. However, when we played Search and Destroy, I'm going to go as far as to say this is the best Search and Destroy map in the entire game. With all the different routes, with all the different flanking styles you can use on this map, it makes for a really exciting Search and Destroy map. The reason why I say that is, generally speaking, for Search and Destroy, the players that are going to do best are the players that can best utilize the map. And since there's so many different routes and passageways on this map, it really enhances that. It really makes it so the players with the best knowledge are going to succeed. Also, another reason why I enjoyed Search on this map is me and Exclusive Ace may have carried the team a little bit. I don't know. You guys can check it out, be the judge. But all I'm saying is I really enjoyed Search on it. Now, what is the bad part about this map? First of all, I would have to say the exact same thing that makes it great for Search and Destroy. For a game mode like Team Deathmatch where the spawns flip super easily, it's kind of hard to tell where the enemies are coming from because there's all those passageways. So this is a really game mode dependent map. And I think other game modes that'll do really well are ones with set spawns, something like Capture the Flag, Gridiron. Even Hardpoint's a little bit more predictable because you can see where the spawns are based off of the hardpoint. I think just Team Deathmatch, Kill Confirmed, even Domination are a little bit tricky to determine where people are spawning. But overall, I would definitely give this map like a 7 out of 10. I know some of the people we played with said this was their favorite, and there's really nothing too bad about it. I just didn't like it as much as the other maps, which when we talk about them, you'll see why I love them so much. The other thing that you should keep in mind when even just talking about Call of Duty maps in general, not just DLC, is general map patterns are designed for certain types of game modes. Generally, when we go there, a couple of the developers will talk to us and tell us what they think game modes work best on certain maps. For example, they told us that Egypt is probably one of their best Search and Destroy maps, and I completely agree with them for that. And then when we went on to play other maps, they explained to us that this is a really good Domination map or Kill Confirmed. The point I'm getting at is that certain maps are designed especially for certain game modes. However, it just so happens that some maps and some map designs tend to work better for all game modes. For example, one map that I can think of when I think of this is Ardennes Forest. I strongly believe that Ardennes Forest is one of the best maps in the game, and it's also one of those maps that just seems to work for every type of game mode, whether you're playing Search, Team Deathmatch, Domination. It just kind of does well, and I think a lot of people can agree with that. Now, as far as what you want to do to succeed on this map, the one thing I would suggest not to do is use sniper rifles. This map is pretty close quarters, but there really isn't that many long lines of sight. Once again, because of those passageways, because of all the flank routes, snipers just aren't going to work incredibly well. Weapons like shotguns, SMGs, even assault rifles will do a little bit better. Once again, LMGs I don't think are the best choice on this map. As far as a perk setup or kill streaks, I do think any aerial score streaks work really well because most of the map takes place outdoors. There's some small indoor areas, but all of the spawns are outdoors, so that really improves that for score streaks as well. Other than that, though, I would really just recommend knowing what weapon you're using and playing the map based off of that. There are some areas that are very, very short range, mainly the indoor areas. If you're using a shotgun or a short range SMG, that's where you want to be. If you're using an assault rifle or a longer range SMG like the Type 100, then you definitely want to be be around the outskirts of the map, around the outside areas. Just dependent on which gun you're using is going to determine how you're going to play this map. Now, I don't really have too much else to say about this map. As far as the gameplay you're watching, it's not going to be the best in the world. First of all, I was playing against a bunch of other YouTubers, even some pro players we were playing against, so I'm not going to have the greatest KD, but it's some pretty decent gameplay. So overall, what do I give this map out of 10? It's a really solid map. I'd give it like a 7 out of 10, 6.7, 7 out of 10, somewhere around there. But what you got to remember is, amazingly, at a 7 out of 10, this is my least favorite map out of the map pack, so it just shows you how much I like those other maps. But I can't talk about those till later, so stay tuned. I got one coming up later today and another one tomorrow, so stay tuned for those. But what I want to leave this game off with is a little bit of a question for you guys, and it's what type of maps you prefer. Now, I'm not talking about stylized, big, small, medium. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about look. So, for example, in Call of Duty World War II, as we were talking about, we have a lot of the snow, forest, and city maps. This is the first desert map we have. Personally, my favorite type of map, and it doesn't really exist in Call of Duty World War II, is night maps. For example, back in Call of Duty World at War, there was a map called Macon Night. There was also Macon Day, but it was just a night version of that map. And it was dark. It was kind of hard to see enemies, but all in all, it was a night map, and it's something that very rarely is in Call of Duty. So I guess what I'm saying is I would like to see some night maps, and I'm really interested to hear which type of maps you guys would like to see. Another favorite one of mine is really heavy jungle maps. For example, Jungle from Black Ops 1. I really enjoyed that map too. So yeah, let me know what you think down in the comments. Really, the only reason why I bring this up is, as I've mentioned a million times by now, this map is really an oddity in World War II. It's a map that has a complete different setting, and I think everyone at the capture event really praised it for that. They like to see something different. They don't like to see the same thing over and over again, and with this map, they are really hitting that home. Oh, and one other thing, for those of you who are saying, yeah, it's really cool that they have a map in Egypt, but it's not historically correct, you may want to do some fact-checking first, because believe it or not, there were World War II battles in Egypt. It was just mainly the UK fighting there, not America. So, you didn't know that? There's your little history lesson for the day. So, like I said, let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Also, if you enjoyed the video, it would be fantastic if you could hit that like button. We got some more DLC 2 content coming later today, so stay tuned for that. But guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace out.